The way I'm going to take you is through the mountains.
And that's where it's deep, deep Appalachia.
Deep, deep Appalachia. This was like the hub of the community.
When they started shutting the coal mines down, it just...
What was up here? You're doing your own thing out here. No sheriff down here, no cop.
That's right.
This is really hard to wrap my head around because we are in the middle of nowhere, and then people have money for this out here.
Oh, yeah.
You can make 6 figures easy.
Easy.
At 18 years old.
This is your holler people.
If a husband got killed in the mine, she had 7 days to remarry.
Steak cooked perfect.
The coal industry died here, and then everyone just left quickly.
These electric cars are getting charged off the grid, and that's mostly coal.
I guess West Virginia people are just so used to having a negative shadow cast on us, and it's not that way at all.
Good morning, guys. Here in Bluefield, West Virginia, deep in the heart of Appalachia. And today we're meeting up with a local named Jimmy. And Jimmy said he can get us out to the surrounding area here. Some of the former wealthy towns with old money and some towns that have decayed to only a few people living there, and bring us into coal country, because that is what built this part of Appalachia. So let's do this, get in with Jimmy, get a better understanding of what life is like here.
This whole entire block's coming down for economic development. They're going to tear it down, I guess, rebuild new buildings here. There's so much asbestos, and they're ready to come down. These things are old.
They're beautiful, though. Like from the front side, that one's beautiful. So this was just thriving, what, 30, 40 years ago?
There were people everywhere. It was one of the biggest hubs in coal country to come through Bluefield, because you're finally getting kind of out of the mountains, and it's easier to get coal out in this. If you look down that way, you can see coal moving still yet.
Oh, coal moving on the railway?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's still happening.
You still get some coal, not like it was though. I mean, even back in the day, the horse and buggy, it's coal mining town was just full of people and life.
Some people are hanging on, huh?
Yeah.
Furniture shop. Okay, so Jimmy, fair to say this is the heart of Appalachia, where we're at.
Yeah, this area. Appalachia is a big mountain chain. It's one of the oldest in the world.
And here's the thing, it's super hard to define, because technically you can say it's from Georgia to Canada, right up to Quebec. Like technically I grew up in Appalachia in Vermont.
Right.
But I don't look at myself as Appalachian.
Right.
But when you look at identify as Appalachian, that would be these states, right? West Virginia, Kentucky, Tennessee,
right.
North Carolina.
Eastern Kentucky, southern West Virginia, parts of Tennessee. But I'll show you in a little bit when we get up here where the West Virginia line is, and you can see the difference. If you want to film some of this is actual coal coming through. When we get on down here, you'll see how many railroad tracks were side by side. They've ripped out a bunch of them because we don't have the coal we used to. But I remember coming over here, and you could count like 23 or 24 sets of rails all the way across. My father was a coal miner. He, for years, until he just couldn't do it anymore. He's eat up a black lung now, so he has breathing problems. Like a lot of people in this area have breathing problems.
Just being down in the mines year after year, your lungs take it in.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of the people that I see come through the hospital I work at have breathing problems. Not even being in the coal mines. At one time, there was so much coal that it's in the air, it's in the water.
That's one good aspect of the industry declining, right? Like
Yeah and no. I think it's more of a catch-22. We relied so much on it in this area. It's just devastated now, and you have a lot of just wasteland houses and things where nobody lived.
Right.
But
it was by far the main economic driver.
Oh Lord,
here.
yeah.
It was everything.
It was, I don't think anything wasn't affiliated with coal.
This is beautiful, Jimmy. What are the prices of some of these houses here?
They run anywhere from 60s to 100,000.
$60K for a 2-bedroom, 2-bath?
3-bedroom, 2-bath, basement.
It's just because so many people have moved out that the value came down?
Well, they never went up.
Okay.
This right here, this is the West Virginia state line. Where we were at down in Bluefield.
Yep.
Down in that area. Now the way I'm going to take you is back around, and we'll go through the mountains into Wyoming County. They may be 2,000 or 3,000 people live in a small town, but on the outskirts of it, there's 10 or 15,000 that live in the mountains and hollers. And every 100 yards, 200 yards, there's a place where you turn off and go up a holler or up on the side of a mountain.
And that's where it's deep, deep Appalachia.
Deep, deep Appalachia.
People out there, a lot of them never even leave, right?
Right, they have no reason to leave. This is Matoka. I don't think revitalizing this would do any good. It's pretty rough. Now, there's some good people from Matoka, don't get me wrong. There's some excellent people from down here. This place was really hard hit by the coal industry. See one of the coal bridges going across?
Yep.
The bigger homes down here that you'll see on the main street right here, they were the boss's houses, and one of them was probably medical. My grandpa's house was a doctor's office. So they were bigger like these are. But then you get into the smaller houses is most of your workers.
Okay.
There's the sheriff's department. I mean, it's just a little tiny building.
I gotta say, Jimmy, it doesn't look too bad.
Most of the town and stuff was over in here, and it's gone, most of it. See all the old buildings and stuff?
Oh, right. Let's cruise over there. Downtown Matoka.
Yeah, what's left of it.
The coal industry died here, and then everyone just left quickly.
A lot of people left. Some people stayed. Like I said, everywhere you look at, though, nobody really lives in towns. They all live in the hollers that branch off.
Right.
It's kind of like
look at there's one shop up here.
Kind of like a ghost town, ain't it?
But then this one looks great.
1978 coal software.
Oh yeah. What's the story? That one's doing well. Everyone else.
It should be a old computer place where they make computers and stuff like that.
Oh.
They just recently shut it down. The man that
Do you live?
it used to be pretty. Up until
Oh,
like
you
a
can
month
tell.
ago.
Till a month ago.
The people in town destroyed them.
Oh, we're making a video about Appalachia. You mind, sir? Okay, thank you. So you live out here?
My mommy lives up on Bailey Street.
Okay. So how long ago was it when this was just thriving? Is that like 30 years back?
I'd say the 80s and into the 90s. There used to be like some bars, and used to be like 4 or 5 bars, and like there used to be a movie place and
wow.
a pharmacy and a Piggly Wiggly and all kinds of stuff. And then like when they started shutting the coal mines down, it just
died off.
And then for the past, I'd say 7 years, drugs took over everybody. My boss, they own the old school. They're trying to redo everything right now.
Yep.
And trying to bring back something to the community. You know.
Yeah.
Kind of happens that way, I guess, everywhere.
So you're saying this was just destroyed not long ago?
They just shut these buildings down a month ago.
What was in them?
It's apartment buildings right here. All of them was. The Colonas owned them. They started doing that demolition thing to tear down stuff. They shut them down so they could tear them down.
Okay.
And then everybody just gravitated to it to, like, you know, the copper, the wood, and all that to
Gotcha.
make their money, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it used to be a really nice town. Like, my whole family was from down here, and then it just fizzled out. There's still good people here that try.
I bet.
But it's kind of hard to try when you got other people.
Did you see that license plate? New York.
Yeah, they're visiting their family right now. They're really nice people. We just talked to them.
You guys know everyone here, huh?
Yeah.
Everyone knows everyone.
Yeah. It's a good thing sometimes. Sometimes it's a bad thing because everybody knows your business.
Yeah, I bet.
But I got to get back to work.
Yeah, no,
All right.
Thank you. All the best. That's interesting. So this one place is still here.
With it being a Friday and it's not open, it kind of makes me wonder if it's still there
Right.
or not.
AC units on, so someone's living up there.
I'd say residentially, there's probably a lot of people that still live in these buildings.
Right. Well, that's interesting what she said. They just destroyed those in the last month.
Smile, you are too.
Look at this.
Your typical back alley.
Yeah. So you can see how people are very defensive over coal.
Yeah, yeah.
Like when that goes away, then you get
Well,
this,
the only
right?
thing, this is exactly what you get.
The alternative out here is what, outside of coal? Where we started today in Bluefield, you're working at the hospital.
Right.
There's something. But out here,
You'd probably have to drive to Princeton to work.
right.
Because as you know, it's only a little bit down the road. A lot of people live here, work at the hospital. Very small percentage still work in coal mines. ATVs are the way to go here to make quick money or to put up people that are coming from out of town. See the side by side?
Yep.
Those are legal on the highway now, anywhere. So they're trying to make a transition over to making that one of the biggest industries here.
Okay.
Side by sides and like Airbnbs, cabins,
Okay.
rentals. Lots and lots and lots of people come from out of state to ride because it's some of the best ATV riding in the world. There used to be houses all over the top of the hill and all over this mountain. It's all grown up and gone. I remember seeing like 50 houses through there.
How does that make you feel?
I hate it for the people that live here because the people are so good. I mean, when your buddy came here to film this, he said, "Oh, everybody's kind of won't talk to you and stuff." That's probably further from the truth. Especially probably if they see you somebody that they know or something, they'll probably be crowding you around you when we get to Mullins. This is Wyoming County. We're topping into Wyoming County. There's not a traffic light in the county. We don't have red lights.
Fair to say this is one of the most remote parts of the state?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
This and McDowell County probably your two most remote ones. This is the old football field and high school. Hell, most of the high school's gone. But that was part of the high school there. But they consolidated. It looks like somebody lives there and got a dog tied up.
Lives in the high school.
It looks like it. Oh, damn. This is where all the four-wheelers and stuff come in. And this is how they've actually made money doing this. They got extra gas tanks.
Okay.
They got big screen TV, indoor dining. It's got bathrooms and all that
So
stuff.
these are for all the tourists
These
here
are for
on
the
four-wheelers.
four-wheelers and stuff that come in, yeah.
Okay.
And then some people rent out little cabins and stuff here and there. This is kind of like Bud Holler. It doesn't go that far back in here, but this is kind of like a holler.
It's like a mini holler.
Yeah, everybody here knows everybody. It used to be really beautiful down here. I mean,
So the church is still functioning?
I'm not sure if that one is or not. This used to be the elementary school. When I was a kid, it was in perfect shape. We used to play here. My cousins grew up in that little white house right there.
So when you grew up out here, say in one of these haulers, you finish high school, are most kids getting out or most kids staying?
They're going.
They're getting out of town.
Yeah, there's a lot more opportunity outside. You'll see some of the remnants of the coal industry. See that?
Okay, yeah. Who were the big players here?
Oh, God, there were so many of them. But that's a lot of people they stay a little bit upset about the way the coal companies did. They came in and they pretty much robbed everybody of their resources. The coal, they took it out and they took it with them. And they didn't leave anything in return for all, people made a decent wage and stuff for years, but then after that, they pulled all their health care. You couldn't get black lung. They didn't take care of the people, but all their money was spent elsewhere, New York and big towns and cities, and yeah.
And the coal was running the power plants in the country, right?
Absolutely.
A lot
Yes.
of them, right?
The coal from here. There's all kinds of different grades of coal. The hardest being anthracite. Anthracite's the hardest coal that you can get, and it's mostly mined in Pennsylvania, northern West Virginia, places like that. It's really, really hard coal. Okay, the next grade down is bituminous, and it's a little bit softer coal, but it's the best burning and cleanest coal. Or not, it ain't cleaner than anthracite, but it's clean coal. It's not dirty coal, and it all comes from here. And that's what this country was built upon, is bituminous coal. So they came in and they made all this money off this coal, and then when they left, here's what you get.
Okay, so do people feel like they've been forgotten? Or
Absolutely, yeah.
they were fueling the country, basically, right?
Absolutely.
Once where they weren't needed.
This is what you get.
Okay, and your lungs are toast for the rest of time.
That's exactly right. This is where my mom and dad want me to put their ashes. My mom was born right down over the hill here, And my dad's from Bud, so they want their ashes spread off this bridge. There were a lot more tracks coming in than that right there. They used to be stacked all the way side to side. I was going to turn right here. My grandpa, that's his old house. It was the hospital for the coal mines at one time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And this is Itman. This is the coal mining camp. This is a lot of the original houses that were here, and the coal mines are still here. Like all these houses are coal mining houses. This is the old company store. And now when we get out, I'll show you around to it.
Oh, wow. That was the old company store right here?
This is the company store.
As in grocery store, hardware store, everything?
Yeah, it was owned by the coal miners. Itman Coal Company owned this. My grandpa worked for them for years. The coal companies would print their own money, and it was called script. And you couldn't just go anywhere and spend your money. You couldn't go on Myrtle Beach vacations or anything like that. You had to spend your money at the company store. That's the only place your money was good at.
Your salary comes from the coal company.
And they printed their
own currency.
And you had to use it here, or you couldn't buy, you just couldn't go anywhere else to buy it.
It was useless.
You're stuck here, yeah. Each coal company paid you by that script.
That's criminal, huh?
Yeah, it's criminal.
When did that stop?
That was way back in probably late 1800s.
So that's when you had a lot of immigrants coming over, doing it right, and so they're stuck.
Yeah.
They're basically...
You're pretty much almost, I guess, enslaved. You would have to spend all your money at the coal company. They printed their own, so they're not out anything, and you had to live in these small houses that he built for you.
Would they do anything like do community events, try to make you feel proud and really happy about your community? Because this is a nice building. I mean,
I don't think they did back then. I think it was pretty much just work, live, and die.
How you guys doing?
Y'all want to be on film? Are y'all guys from here?
We live in Florida.
In Florida. Oh, right.
Me
well,
too.
Your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Happy camper. Virginia? Yep. How do you like the best Virginia? West Virginia.
Oh, I like this better than home.
You do?
I'd move here in a heartbeat, never blink an eye.
I grew up here. Matter of fact, right up on this hill.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I was telling him about the script. I remember this. I caught the tail end of this still being open. I remember coming in as a kid, but the script was over by then. But still, yeah, they had everything here was jacked up twice as what it was in Mullins when you go to Mullins.
God.
Yep.
So if you bought anything from the company store, you're gonna pay out the ass for it.
What got me is you're sitting there, and if your miner gets killed in the mines, they had 7 days to remarry, and it's like, whoa, what?
Wait.
Or they had to move out of the
Or
house.
leave.
Yeah.
So they're in their houses, and the coal miners own those houses. The coal mine owns those houses, so
Okay.
everything goes through the houses, and that's what you do. But if a husband got killed in the mine, she had 7 days to remarry,
Or she was out.
or she was gone.
They took off her.
Because
They wanted a man in there
Yeah.
to be
Yep.
mining.
They packed up all their stuff and they took it to the city limits and left it.
Yep,
That's how they done it.
exactly. Yep, it's sad. I mean, but that's the way it was.
I barely remember when they last had businesses in here, but I know about 9 or 10 years ago they had a post office there in that building.
Okay.
But I don't think this one's ever been redeveloped or anything. But I was really young, probably 5 or 6 years old, 7.
Cool building.
They had a homeless shelter in that too for a while. They had an elevator in it.
You remember when this was all functioning?
Yeah, we'd come in here and buy stuff, yeah.
Like what?
Just milk, bread, eggs.
Do you remember the workers that worked here?
Yeah.
Were they in uniforms or how'd they look?
No, they just wore like coveralls, and everybody came out. I mean, everything was black except for their eyes and their teeth.
All the coal miners coming in
Yeah,
here.
black as your shirt. Just covered. I mean, everything in it was.
So this place was busy.
Oh, this place here, when I was a kid, it probably was more busy back in the older days, but as a kid, there was people in and out here all the time. This was like the hub of the community. I remember people up on this balcony here would do the books, and there were desks up there, and they would do the books for the mining companies and stuff, and you can hear them up there chattering along on their typewriters and stuff.
Right. I mean, you're not that old. What are you, 42?
I wish. Yeah, I'm 42 for the camera. I'll be 49 in July.
Yeah, so it's really not even that old. And this looks like it's been out of business for a long time, but it's not that long ago.
Well, yeah, probably.
I mean, it's just crazy how fast things
probably
decay
40
here.
years, to 35, 40 years.
But things decay so quickly
They
here
do.
because of this climate. It's so humid.
Wow, that's old.
What was up here? You got a postcard?
Yeah, that was our old governor, years and years and years ago. Gaston Caperton.
Look at him.
That's funny how it was found there.
Was the coal company for people sort of a love-hate?
Well,
Like, as in, it was their income and their livelihood, but then it was, hey, get your, what do you call it, script?
Uh-huh.
And you can't go anywhere and use it anywhere, and you probably hate the person that's doing that to you.
I'd say they probably weren't too fond of it, but that's what choices do you have when you're enslaved into something? You don't have a choice. Go to work. It's the only way you're going to feed your family.
Right.
I mean, what else do you do? You can hate or complain about it, but they probably just shoot you.
So now I'm trying to understand if I grew up here, if my family was here multiple generations. My father worked in the coal mine. He endured that, let's say. Now we're in 2023. And I have people telling me, like, looking down on me for being from coal country or being involved with coal. Right? That's got to be tough.
I'd say some people it affect. I mean, I guess West Virginia people are just so used to having a negative shadow cast on us, and it's not that way at all. I guess it would be hard knowing that everybody perceives you as inbred or
And I don't think everyone does. It's just
backwoods and uneducated.
Right.
So the people are different. It's a different vibe.
Totally. Yesterday I was at a little place off the side of the road for dinner, spaghetti and meatballs, homemade meatballs. I sat and talked with a local. He got up to leave. He had to leave earlier than me.
Yeah.
When I went to pay, they were like, he's already paid.
Yeah. You'll get
Right.
that.
Like that type of, that's like some, you don't see that much these days, I gotta say. What is that?
It's a roll of paper. This could be the kind of paper they printed their script out of. But
You think that was the currency?
most
maybe?
of their currency was coins, though. That's what people kept are coins.
Okay.
And each one of, if I had some, I'd show you, but each one of them had a hole punched in it. It's like it was the size of a quarter, but it'd have like an A or a moon or something punched into it, so they knew it was authentic and it came from their coal mine. Very hard to, reproduce it or counterfeit it. This was all shipping and receiving, and when they bring everything in, it was kind of protected from everybody. They could leave stuff out overnight and stuff and lock this main door down here, but this is...
Was it wild back in the days, like Wild West type stuff, gunfights, or it was pretty nailed down? Like,
I'd say you had a few people that were wild.
Yeah.
And I ain't gonna mention no names or anything, like my dad. But my mom was a deputy, and my dad met her. He was incarcerated.
Your dad met your mother,
And he was a prisoner. Yeah.
Oh my
He has not
God.
been in any trouble since then, but since
he's got
Mom.
skills.
Yeah, Dad was. He was a little wild back in these days, but
What was he in prison for?
he wasn't in prison, just jail.
Oh, what was he in jail
Yeah,
for?
probably fighting or drinking or something. It's until.
What was this?
This was a post office and
Okay.
a bank at one time. This is where you come in and get your script or whatever, get paid. They give you a pay slip, I believe. I'm not sure on how it's the way it actually went, but they give you a pay voucher, and you came here to get your script, and then you
Okay.
went there to buy your groceries or whatever you needed. This is still in pretty good shape. Now, this was they had a homeless shelter here, I think, up in 90s, 94, 95 maybe,
Okay.
I'm guessing.
Why is nobody squatting this now, do you think?
Not a lot of homeless people want to live in West Virginia. I mean, if I was going to be homeless, I want to be near somewhere I could get something to eat, somewhere I could,
Right. I've seen 0 homeless people here.
We have them. It's just
You don't see it though.
you don't see it. It's
Right.
not as common as like big cities and stuff. West Virginians hate mountaintop removal. It's the people that own the land, the outside investors. They sell a whole mountain. They come in and just rip the top off of it for coal. And it's usually a cheaper coal and it burns a lot faster and a lot nastier.
So is there a lot of that outside money coming in, buying the land, and then
Well, they bought it years ago.
like that one up there?
That's a small piece of it, if that is one. But it scars the land permanently. When I was a kid, this river used to almost be black all the time. It's finally, over the years, has cleaned itself out and gotten rid of a lot of the sludge and stuff in it.
So how is the environment out here overall, or that's tough to say? Or
Now they're running raft trips on this one, or
Okay.
canoe trips. It's a lot better than what it used to be,
So
which
that's-
is good.
That's the good aspect. I mean, coal. I don't know much about it. It burns dirtier than natural gas, obviously, right?
Well, I have two views on that. Everybody wants to go electric, and oh, it's going to be so good for the community and the world and the environment. But where do you think that electricity's coming from?
Right.
Coal and gas
Right.
is still, that's where we're still getting our electricity from. Now, if we were on solar, or even with dams and rivers and stuff, it still doesn't make enough energy.
So that's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Just someone comes in, blasts off a mountain. That one's in operation, though.
Yeah,
So the truck
that's in
going.
operation. It ain't that old.
Okay, so it's really hard to grasp. Like, you're destroying the environment for the economy, obviously. People have to live. If I
Right.
grew up out here and that was my only option, I'd be driving that dump truck too, or doing whatever it took, right?
Look how dirty it is.
Right.
Coal's terrible for the roads, and just everything stays dirty all the time.
Right, so
But the
world's better with less coal, fair to say?
Not really. I mean, West Virginia's not. I mean,
Right.
I guess that is your double-edged sword, you know.
Like, I
Coal's
don't-
good for the people, but is it bad for the environment? Well, yeah, it's bad for the environment, but the way they're doing it now is a lot dirtier and harmful to the environment than what it was when you had coal miners underground pulling it out from 4 miles deep.
Interesting. So this mountaintop stuff is actually worse.
Oh, it's a lot worse. I don't know a lot of people that are for that unless you were rich and you had a stake.
So why is that allowed?
Because your politicians,
Okay.
they allow it.
That's how it works.
And nobody knows about it. Nobody cares about it but us. And you're never going to hear anybody say anything about it either unless you come here. Now, coming up here, we have one of the new coal tipples. This has been here less than a year.
What's a tipple?
A tipple is where the coal all comes together and it gets processed and sent out to other places.
Okay, this thing here.
That's it.
So that's servicing that mountaintop we just saw,
Yep.
probably.
That's all brand new. A year ago, maybe a year and a half ago, none of this was here. Now, this high school here is the consolidated one.
Consolidated, as in there were many. Now there's just one.
There's just one. This is where I would have graduated at if I were to graduate 99 or later. But it's a good sized school. There's a lot of kids that go there.
So how far out does this stretch, as far as kids from 10, 20, 30 miles out come to this high school?
Yeah.
They can have a commute of how long?
An hour, hour and a half.
School bus?
Yeah. A lot of times, if you live in a holler, your parents will take you to the end of the holler, and there's a bus stop there
Okay.
that you'll kind of wait in.
Okay.
That's the way it was in, any holler I've been around, that everybody drops you off at the end of the holler. You walk. A lot of kids walk. Now, we're coming into New Richmond. It is an actual coal camp, too. It's just where people's left.
Yeah.
But, I mean, we still have people live. I have a cousin that lives here.
Because they're in Appalachia, they're so deeply rooted to family and land.
Right.
So you don't want to go, even if you see it going downhill.
Oh, that's the way most people are here. They don't they don't mind you coming in.
Yep.
As a stranger, they'll have open arms for you. But for us to go somewhere, it's not so much. The people would rather stay here.
Now, if you grow up in a family that's been here many generations, you leave, say, to New York City. Do they look down upon you
No.
at that point?
No, I don't think people are as judgmental here. I mean, people have been through so much here, living here, that I don't think anybody judges anybody. Now, they do look down on drugs and people are strung out and stuff, but I think it's everywhere. I mean, I think society's just getting to a point where they're tired of the drug problem and stuff, and
Sure.
the problems that it carries with it.
Yep.
But it's hard to take a West Virginian out of West Virginia. But if you get them out, a lot of times they show up.
But I know one
Show
guy.
back up.
I know one guy, Jimmy, that has a girlfriend down in Atlanta.
Yeah.
and you might have to just leave West Virginia.
Yeah, may have to. We'll just see what happens. Put me on the spot, didn't you? But she's worth it, though. I mean, she'd be worth moving to West Atlanta. This is where I grew up at.
Oh, wow.
You have a huge courthouse in the middle of nowhere.
Beautiful.
This is the jail. They built it in 1930s, and they built this in 1916. This is the place where I played at, and I did my homework at the county jail every day.
I mean, we're really deep in now.
Yeah, this is
about as deep in as it
about
gets.
as deep as you can get.
In Appalachia, where you're removed. Well, Kentucky has some places too, right?
Yeah, Kentucky and Eastern Kentucky. This was a hotbed for politics back years ago. If you landlocked or got Wyoming County, McDowell County in your pocket, you had all southern West Virginia tied up. Even though it was just a few electoral votes, still a lot of money down here that they wanted a hold of.
Right. And so it's really interesting cruising through all of these different towns, how they all have, some have decayed to that one where we saw the lady, right?
Yeah.
That was like gone. This is coming back. So that's just how it is in Appalachia,
That's just how it is. Some make it and some don't. This being the county seat kind of helps
that
it
helps.
out. Yeah.
So there's some government money coming into here.
Yeah, probably.
And do you notice with drugs, like it gets a hold of some people and then that sort of like grows in friend networks, family networks, and then like some towns will have a lot more of a drug problem than other towns?
I think so, yeah.
Does that work that
yeah.
way?
When it hit here, the town next to us in Oceana, the pharmaceutical companies are being sued for pumping drugs into that. Big pharma. Oxycontin problem.
Oxycontin, right.
They were selling more in that one town than any place in the whole state.
More Oxycontin there than anywhere in the state?
Any place in the state.
And that was the pill mill situation,
Yep.
stuff coming up from Florida.
And would come here, and the people here everybody was on drugs over there at one time.
And that's gone down?
Yeah, it's gone down. I mean, they've cracked down on it as far as law enforcement and stuff.
Okay. But all the doctors were in on it? Or how did that?
I think everybody was in on it. That was cash cow.
And when was that the biggest? Like 10 years ago, 15
That was
years
probably 2000, yeah. Around 2000,
Okay.
2005, 2006, somewhere around there.
ago? Okay. What's crime like out here right now, do you think?
Well, if it's related to drugs and stuff, I'd say, I know it's on a decline. I don't think it ever really got out of hand much.
Okay.
I mean,
I've seen a lot of sheriff's cars and a lot of police cars around here.
I think they've stepped it up a lot.
In God we trust. How important is religion out here these days?
When I was a kid, it was big. Everybody went to church. Not so much anymore. I think religion's kind of fell everywhere, though. It's not just here.
But even you consider yourself the South here?
No.
Okay, what do you consider yourself?
West Virginian.
You're your own.
Yeah,
You weren't Confederate, you weren't Union.
We wasn't Confederate or Union. We kind of got caught in the middle of it and pick a side. So the Mason-Dixon line went under us and went above Kentucky.
So went under you meant you're a Union.
Yeah, we were considered Union.
But you
when
didn't
they
think of
split.
yourselves as Unions?
I think we were just West Virginians, man. We were still coal mining, being used by coal companies. We didn't really care.
You said no internet.
That's what it said.
What's that like out here in these parts?
You just get used to it.
So there are a lot of towns here without internet?
Yep.
A town like this has Wi-Fi internet in it, or?
You can get Wi-Fi in it. It's probably sky high.
When we go remote here and you're saying these haulers where lots of people
Oh,
live
you
out
will
on-
not get no cell service, and you will not have internet.
So people, what did they watch TV out there?
Oh, they ride bikes or ride motorcycles and four-wheelers and build fires and drink beer and
Right, but they're not online at all.
no. Now I come over here and go riding with one of my friends for the weekend, and I have no cell service from the time I hit Wyoming, the top of the Herndon Mountain I had you. From the time I hit that in the Wyoming County, I don't have nothing all weekend, which is kind of nice, to tell you the truth about it. Come on, somebody's got to go.
Interesting intersection, huh?
Yeah. Well, we don't have any red lights, like I said.
No red lights, no internet in a lot of the county.
Yep. There's even a place in West Virginia called Green Banks that has these huge telescopes, and they look like satellite dishes. In the whole entire town, you're not allowed to have a cell phone on at any time. I guess they're reading stuff from outer space and all kinds of stuff.
Oh.
But you're not allowed to have a cell phone. It's against the law to have a cell phone in that town. This is a key rock. It's a holler.
So hollers, for those that don't know, how would you explain it?
It's just a road off the main road where people live at. And inside of a valley, you'll go between the mountains and it stays right in the bottom of the valley until you run out of valley or it comes out somewhere.
I'm really surprised we're super remote. Look how good the pavement is.
Yeah, they paved this about a year ago. And my uncle lived in this house, my dad's other brother. That's his garage, but he lived in the house behind this. Now this we'll have to turn around, but this is a holler.
This is the real holler.
This is a holler, yeah.
So a lot of people doing their own gardens and whatnot.
They do their own gardens. They maintain their land. You'll get up here and you'll be like, they're so far up in here. Why do they mow their grass? Nobody's ever going to see it.
So everyone knows everyone. People,
Yep.
Here we go, some deer.
Yeah. That's why I don't drive new cars. It's right there.
Right.
Yeah.
They're everywhere here, huh?
Well, it looks delicious.
Do you hunt them?
No. I did when I was younger.
Look at these big gardens.
Yeah.
So would you say it's a good community back here, or
Oh
it just
yeah,
depends the holler?
no, everybody in this holler knows everybody. They know who they are, when they come, what time they work, if they work outside of here, what time they come home.
So if someone comes in from out of town driving up here, everyone knows it's not
Yeah,
from here, and they're like, people look out for each other?
yeah, they do. Now, probably not so much now, but if we were back 20 years ago and we were in an unknown car coming up this road, they were most of the time on a, what they call it, the landlines that everybody's connected, a party line.
Okay.
Sorry, couldn't think of it. But the party line, if the lady at the beginning of the holler was on the phone, and the lady at the end of the holler wanted to use it, this lady had to hang hers up so she could get through. It was all party line. So everybody had the same phone number, but it rang different. Like the woman at the beginning would have one ring, the next guy would have two rings, the next guy would have three.
That's just 20 years ago.
Probably 20, 30 years ago, yeah.
All right, so we had to turn around quickly up there.
We probably couldn't have went much further than that.
Okay.
Most hollers aren't real long.
Oh, they're not?
Mile and a half. Now, the Key Rock, the one we're going back to and finishing up, coming out, it's about 3, 4, or 5 miles through.
Okay.
But it's a holler as well. It's just a little bit better paved holler. And this one ain't bad. A lot of them are dirt. There's some people that never leave West Virginia. I mean, there's some people that goes out of their holler maybe once or twice a year, and that's it.
Yeah, you think some of these people living here would leave once or twice a year?
Yeah, they probably go to Myrtle Beach.
Oh, really?
Myrtle Beach is the West Virginia, Hawaii. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Everybody's like, well, let's go to the beach. It's Myrtle Beach. I'd say a good percentage of people from West Virginia have never been on planes, have never really been outside of the state of West Virginia. I mean, if they do, it's usually Tennessee to Gatlinburg, or they go to Myrtle Beach. And besides that, they don't go nowhere. Some people go to D.C. every once in a while. If you want to see a big town, go to D.C.
So if you grow up here, you spend all your life here, and then all of a sudden you go to New York City, that's got to be a massive shocker.
Oh, man. I tell you what.
It's like going to another country.
Right. For me, when I left here, I'd been out of the state a few times, quite a few times as a child, but living outside of West Virginia, like the first place I was in was Texas, and that was for basic training.
Yeah.
And then I went from there to South Carolina, to Shaw Air Force Base, South Carolina, and I met people from all over the world. It's a culture shock.
You glad you did it?
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm glad I got to travel the world. But I tell you, it's definitely a culture shock, because you're used to people being one way all your life, and then all of a sudden people ain't the same, you know, when you get in a crowd of different people.
Right.
This is your holler people.
So what are people here, just for example, what are they doing for work?
They don't. They live on checks.
Like, food stamps?
Food stamps, government checks, some of them. And some of them don't. I mean, some of them own their own property up here, and some just decide not to leave Key Rock. I mean, they want to stay here. But usually if their house is pretty dilapidated and stuff, usually they live on a check. They're disabled or older. Or
They can live off how much up here, do you think?
Oh, shit. If you own the property, I mean, hell, you could live off $100, $200, $300 a month. Easy. I figured you were thinking, you know, all run down and everything.
Yeah, I was, especially out here. I thought the further out we would get, the more rundown it would be.
That's just a stereotype. Now, there's going to be some rough spots, but it's like that everywhere.
That's beautiful. Look at all this grass.
Yeah. That's why I kind of wanted to bring you this way, because this is what it really is. It's stereotypically, you would think people playing banjos on their front porch. And
Yeah, where is that?
Yeehaw.
I want to see some of that.
We don't have that.
Not happening?
Kentucky,
What about
maybe.
bluegrass? I want to hear some bluegrass.
I can.
Kentucky?
You're more likely to run into holler people like that in Kentucky than you are West Virginia. That's why I was glad to do this video, because there's such a misconception. Living in Kentucky for 25 years, they always made fun of West Virginia because they knew they were worse than we were, or close. So they would always try to put us down. I'm like, no, it's not that bad. I've seen some rough places in Kentucky. I mean, especially eastern Kentucky. It was hit a lot like this was. I can say we've had it a little bit better because, just some of our leadership and our government's been a little bit better, and they've tried to do better things. But what keeps this place different from all the other places is pride. I love being here and being from here, and just raised to be a good person. Most of your people here, you'll hardly ever find a nasty, hateful, mean, self-centered person here in this area, not in southern West Virginia, unless they're strung out on drugs or something. There were 29 miners that got killed in the Upper Big Branch. It was an explosion. Probably, I can't remember the exact date of it, over 10 years ago, but one of the friends I went to high school with, and a guy that was kin to me somehow through family or something down the road, died in it. But these are some of the coal miners that's died inside the coal mines.
Well, it's too bad there are a lot of blank bricks to be filled,
Yeah. Well, it's gotten safer over the years, but it's still not as safe as it could be. It's still a dangerous occupation.
27 years in the mine, is that what that means?
I believe so, yeah.
What's the average lifespan in the mine?
It just depends. Everybody's lungs are different. Some will work 10 or 15 years and get black lung, and some work 25, 30 years. It just depends on your body and how it takes it.
Why don't they wear a mask?
It'd be like trying to thread a needle with a mask on, with the goggles on. You can't do it. It's just,
right.
You can't be working in coal and working as hard as you do, which I've never done it before, but these guys get down there and you just can't do your job with a mask on, a respirator. You just can't do it. Now, the ones that do it, I don't know how they do it, but that's one of the hardest jobs in the United States is coal mining.
It's physical down there?
Very physical. Some of them work in coal, less than that, and they're on machinery. And that's all the leeway you got. I mean, when you get 4 miles deep, that coal seam may not be that tall. So you're crawling and all kinds of stuff to dig coal.
You're like with a pick down there, picking it away?
No. They got a machine. It's a miner that goes in, and they ride the miner in, and they got to keep it lubed. They got to keep the coal on the belt. There's a big belt that goes down.
They blow it up down there?
Oh, yeah. They use explosives still yet.
Wow.
But the miner does most of it, I believe. I'm not a coal miner, so don't take my word on that.
It's never too late.
No.
So this town is sort of in between, huh?
Yeah.
Half alive?
It's trying to, yeah. But this one's really big for the four-wheelers and stuff like that. This is a good hub for them to come in off the trails. Let's go see if we can get some grub.
Oh, yeah. This is your buddy's restaurant?
Yeah. Excellent food.
Hello?
Hey.
Yeah. Okay, 2015 mines went to...
Yeah, they were leaving West Virginia so fast that U-Haul was taking van loads of people out and bringing their U-Haul equipment back so more people could leave.
Okay, what are the mines like now?
Just, they're wide open. They're hiring red hats, new hires, and putting them on day shift because...
What are red hats?
Inexperienced miners.
Rookies?
Yeah.
Guys like me, I could get a job tomorrow.
Yeah, you go take a, 80-hour class?
You have to go take a class.
Yeah, you get a 80-hour apprenticeship, pretty much, and you have to spend time with an experienced miner before 6 months. I think you can get your experienced miner's card.
So jobs are coming back.
Yeah, they're everywhere. They can't find it like anywhere else. Everybody's having trouble finding help.
How much are they paying?
This area, 30s.
Today I found out we got a couple of boys on the job. It's going down to Coal Mountain.
Yeah.
Through some type of contractor. They're paying him $50 an hour.
Well, the new highway's coming through.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Right now things are booming. I mean, it's...
So is that like you see it good for a few months and then it might take a turn down, or it's like it's going to look good for years, or you don't know? Hard to tell. How does coal work?
The analysts say that this coal boom is going to last a while. because of the electric cars, and people talk about green energy, and these electric cars are getting charged off the grid, and that's mostly coal.
Okay, the big power plants in this region of the country are coal.
Most of them, some of them are gas. They substitute natural gas, but most of them are coal. If we put all the electric cars on the grid today on solar and gas and wind, it failed. And if we're going all electric cars, which I hope most of them do, I'll never buy one. But that's just good for business. That's more coal we got to burn.
Are you doing coal too?
Not now. I'm a road jobber.
Road jobber. Is that a truck driver?
No.
What's a road jobber? Sorry.
Did you come down the Coalfield Expressway?
No,
No.
Y'all didn't come down the
I came across the mountain.
I worked on the last 6 miles of this road job.
Okay.
Right up here.
Some of these road jobs that are going in now is some of the stuff that was planned under the Kennedy administration, and they're just now getting to them. The area Pineville you went to, Welch, Yeager, they're pretty secluded. So this road's going in, and it should open a lot of the access up to them.
That helps with coal? Getting it
Oh,
out?
yeah. It'll open up moving the coal for the trucks, sure, because now it's all 2-lane roads. They're going to put a highway through there, and it'll open a lot of access up for people.
See, you guys grew up here.
I grew up in Mingo County, a few
Okay.
counties down. I've traveled all over because of the work. I've been in 7 different states in the last 6 years. Yeah,
You like it the best in West Virginia?
it's home.
You can live the American dream out here if you want. You can buy a home for pretty cheap, get a job, pay your bills. Or no?
You can live way above the median, way above. 6-figure salary, and with no college degree, I mean, high school diploma, and most of them don't even require that anymore. But if you got a good work ethic and, don't care to lay in there and work, you can make 6 figures easy.
Easy.
At 18 years old.
Easy.
Wow. Right out of high school, or even not even out of high school. And you're saying they can't fill the jobs.
In Wyoming, they have a summer program for their kids. If their kids are over 18 years old and the parents work at the mines, they will send them to get their surface card and work them through the summer so they can pay for their college if they choose to go to college.
Okay. What's the big downfall with working in the mines? Black lung?
You're wore out.
You're worn out.
You're bad back, bad knees, bad lungs, bad neck. I mean, you name it. You're by the time that you're able to retire, you retire because you have no choice.
When do guys retire usually?
Early 60s at the latest. I know a bunch of them that they go home and sit on the porch and maybe live 6 months after that.
Yeah.
If they quit working, that's it.
How do the miners feel about the mining companies in general? Because in the past, in the days of the scripts, right, where you basically were had to buy whatever they wanted.
It was legalized slavery.
Legalized slavery. Okay.
much what it was.
It's gotten better obviously since then, but is there still a hard divide between the two?
No, not so much. Not what I'm saying. Do you
No.
think so? They had a lot of trouble back in the 80s with union and companies and things like that.
Yeah.
My grandpa, my dad, I worked in the union, and there was more trouble between the company and the men on those jobs than pretty much anywhere. But no, today it's if you work and you show up every day, they're tickled to have you. They treat you pretty good anymore. You got rid of companies like Massey that didn't. I didn't like them as well. I know they had some pretty shady dealings, which is why they're not in business anymore. But no, for the most part, they treat you good.
Southern Gold Barbecue. It's a mustard base. South North Carolina, it's kind of the sauce. Our regular barbecue, just a regular sweet barbecue, but it is very good. I literally put it on everything. Sting and honey barbecue, if you want something a little bit of a kick, and ketchup.
Yeah, they're homemade.
Yeah, I say it, but
Grandma makes them?
yeah, there you go, yeah. We do make our own ranch.
Okay, what do we got
There you
here?
go,
We
yeah.
got steak,
Now people live in
cheap bacon, cheese, loaded mashed potatoes.
Fair to say fully loaded?
Yeah, and no, you can't have it by it.
Here we go. I'm gonna put the spicy kick.
Good
option
deal.
in.
That's what you need. Oh, you want me to?
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry, So this is a standard pulled pork sandwich in these parts?
Yeah, that's for Jason's. It is. Jason
Okay.
overdoes everything. He wants his customers happy. Is it good? Good deal.
Very nice. Very simple. I like that.
Yep.
Right to the flavor.
Steak cooked perfect. Why do you like it?
Jason's business again? What's it called?
The Rebel Smokehouse.
What happened during COVID was they found that West Virginia was a great place with a lot of outdoor activities. So vacations for a couple years ended up being here. It's a lot of people that are like us. And I joke with them all the time. I say, I know when I open my mouth, you can hear banjos playing in the background. But it doesn't matter whether you're from one of the larger cities or from farmlands out in the Midwest. It doesn't matter. It's our type of people. It's family people. It's blue collar people. It's the type of people that like this type of vacations where they're out riding side by side. They're gearheads. They're the type of guys that like to get out and with their family. They're family people. So so we've had a lot of luck. I guess those folks also have lodging here, and we have no problem.
You have lodging?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Great Escape Lodging.
Great Escape Lodging. So you've seen a huge uptick in the last few years?
Very huge, very huge.
When you say the property's owned by land companies, coal companies, right?
Okay, not necessarily. Land companies came in with the railroad. Land companies keep property for things like for coal minings, to lease out property for coal minings, logging industry, and things like that. So they think of property in more 500-year spans than 100-year spans like we can see.
So who owns the land companies?
Well, they're owned by like Georgia Pacific, large companies that
they're just hedging their bets down the road. They're going to pull some resources.
And they do. I mean, that's what they do. That's what they do around here. It's their property, and all rights and means it's their property. So we're fortunate enough that they let the half McCoy Trail systems run on their property.
Okay.
And what you hear, you have two types of riding here. You have the legal type of riding, which is on the half McCoy Trail system, and you have what they call outlaw riding, which is still yet on their property. It's just in places that have not been sanctioned for the trail permits to ride on. So,
how do you guys feel about the big, say, land holding companies or corporations buying up a lot or controlling a lot of the land here? Is that
you really don't have a lot of choice about it. You really, they've been here since we've been here. I mean, the property that we have is property that they pretty much have decided that we can have. I mean, it was theirs to begin with.
So these towns wouldn't exist without them.
This is a railroad town here. A lot of them are coal towns.
Okay.
So so that's why they're here to begin with.
Gotcha. Ladies, do you side by side?
Everybody.
Okay.
Everybody.
Okay.
We outlaw trail.
Silly question.
We run the outlaw trail.
You're outlaw trailing it. You want to say that on camera?
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares. Okay, so it's normal to outlaw it.
There's a lot of outlaw trails here.
But they're called the outlaw trail.
Okay.
It's trails we've rode since we were kids before they were called outlaw trails.
There's no rules on the outlaw trail. You just do what you want. No helmets. You can drink.
You can take jeeps.
Yeah,
They don't allow jeeps.
you
on
can
the other
ride at
rail.
night.
Yeah.
You can't do that on Hatfield Trail. You can do it on outlaw.
Okay.
Things have gotten a lot easier. It's been a blessing to us. Between the Hatfield with the tourism industry, the highway that came from Raleigh County down to the southern part of the state, it's opened us up to the rest of the world. There's so many parts of the country that can't imagine not having a 4-lane highway close to their home. We've been so secluded so long. It's really made a big difference in the way we live here. So it's been a blessing.
That's great to hear, because I would have thought things were just deteriorating, going down, further down.
Absolutely. Not right now. The coal market's through the roof. Like the type of coal that these guys mine around here, and there were some coal miners sitting there having dinner.
Yeah.
They're proud of what they do, but it's high met coal. It's the type of coal that you use in steel manufacturing, not like power plants like steam coal. It's the good stuff. It goes high in the
It's used in
markets.
steel manufacturing, as in part of the process of
Right. So when they
smelting
take their
metal?
iron ore, or when they
Yeah.
take iron and make it into steel, yes, that's when they heat it. It has to have a type of coal that burns hotter to produce steel. So
Okay.
you might not want to. I'm not an expert on steel
Okay.
manufacturing, but there we go. So
Steam coal.
So we have metallurgical coal
Yeah,
here
it's measured by the BTUs.
Okay.
when they burn it.
The higher BTUs will burn out the grates in the power plants. The steam coal market's really went down a lot here in the last little bit. Steam coal, I think, selling for around $50-$60 a ton. Metallurgical coal selling for around $270 and up.
So what were you saying about coal wars and the only U.S. citizens getting bombed by the U.S. government?
The largest conflict since the Civil War was the Battle of Blair Mountain in Logan County.
I'm going to put this right here. Is that all right?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
You had Union coal miners fighting company coal miners, and it was a conflict to the point that the U.S. government actually deployed the National Guard and actually ended up dropping bombs on our own people. The local West Virginians were winning hands down, so they got their way with the bringing the Union into the area at the time. But that's the largest conflict on U.S. soil
So
since the Civil
all the
War.
workers went on strike. They didn't want to go to work.
It was when the time ended where the company script and
The script, which I learned about
Yes.
today, is the money given
Yes.
by the.
It was given to the men from the company. They had to use that. They lived in company houses. They had to pay rent to the company. They could only use that money at the company store. And usually at the end of the pay period, they owed more than what they made. They had to buy their own tools from the company. Underground miners had to buy their own blasting tools, blasting equipment, dynamite, such. But everything was they purchased from the company, so they got their own money back. Most people owed more than they would have ever worked off. It was just a legal form of slavery. And that resulted in bringing in the UMWA, United Mine Workers of America. And the companies didn't want them here, so they hired gun thugs, Baldwin Phelps detectives they called them, but they were just gun thugs. And they're still finding shell casings from belt-fed fully automatic weapons, and these local boys were kicking their hind ends with what they had at home. At that time, it cost more to replace a mule than it did a man. They used mule to pull coal cars off from underground. It cost them around $200 to replace a mule if it got killed. The man got killed, they gave his widow $50, put her out of the company house, her and her kids, under any circumstances. They were evicted immediately.
Wow. So how much does coal mean to you?
It's everything. One coal job represents another 8 jobs in this state. Other than the Hatfield-McCoy Trail, which has brought in a lot of money, but that's all there is here. You're either a school teacher, a nurse, or a coal miner if you make a substantial living here.
What's up?
They want to know if you want to ride a side-by-side and go to Wagon Wheel with them.
What's
But they'll
Wagon
drive
Wheel?
us. The place where all the four-wheelers are and stuff.
Do we have time?
We got plenty of time.
It's back in the woods. It's a place where, okay,
Yeah.
we went to school with these kids that live in this area. When we were in high school.
want to meet at?
There was an hour-long bus ride for them. It is truly in the middle of the woods.
This was all strip mined. A lot of people came up here since it was flat ground, and we don't have any flat ground anywhere. They came up here and built houses on it. So 30 years after, 30, 35, 40 years after is strips, then you can build on it. But, I mean, who wants to live on a flat area on top of a mountain? I guess these people do.
Interesting. So why 30 years? You just have to wait for nature to retake its...
Well, it's nature to retake it because it's all gravel when they're done with it, just busted gravel and stuff.
That's true. That's the only flat piece of land I've seen all day.
Yeah. But a lot of people come up here. I mean, there's some really nice houses and places up here.
This is where the wealthy live.
Yeah, some of the wealthy live up here on top of the mountain, yeah. Like, I mean, they're beautiful houses.
This is really hard to wrap my head around because we are in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, on top of a mountain.
You're in these towns that are, a lot of them are decaying, empty storefronts, and then people have money for this out here.
Oh, yeah. Well, one of the first ones to build up here was Doc Whalen. He was a psychiatrist, and he had a absolutely huge house, but they tore it down. It was right here. But there's an airport here. It's a private
Back
airport.
there.
Yeah. And it starts right here, and it goes out and goes off a cliff at the end of it.
Does anyone fly out of it anymore?
I don't think so. If they do, I wouldn't know. These ladies could tell you probably.
So these ladies, this is their house?
Yeah.
So these are the ladies we met at the bar?
At the bar, yeah, at the Jason's.
These things are pretty Gucci'd out, huh? There's a lot going on
Well,
here.
he's added a lot to this. But there's heat in here. And
There's
everything.
heat.
Yeah.
It's your husband's?
Yeah.
All right, that was, what was that, an hour in probably?
Probably about 45 minutes, yeah.
45 minutes in.
This is out in the middle of nowhere. Absolutely nowhere. Now, when I was a kid, we used to come up here, but for different reasons. We'd just get a campfire and a bunch of kids sneaking beer and drinking. And
Yeah. And I mean, usually when you come here, it's packed.
Is it like escapeville? Just get away from it all?
Like no rules apply here because where are you? You're just in the middle of nowhere.
Right, there's zero sheriff out here,
I think that's what people like about it.
No cops, just ride any way you want to, wide open.
Who are the people that come out here mostly? Vacationers, locals?
Both. Pretty much vacationers, though.
And I was telling him it's usually packed.
Yes, I'm surprised right now.
See?
Like crazy.
I mean, like the whole place.
This is starting miners' vacation, so it's hard to tell where everybody's at right
What's
now.
miners' vacation?
July 4th week.
July 4th week.
Why do you call it miners' vacation?
Because that's when they all get their vacation.
Almost every coal mine shut down the week before.
Yep. And they all take vacation.
Okay, so all the coal miners get a good extended break right now.
Yes. All of our coal miners are going to the beach right now. And then typically this would be packed full of, you know, out of staters.
This is crazy. We're like literally an hour in
In the woods.
the woods. How'd you come up with the idea to start this out here?
Me and her got together and we owned another bar and we decided we owned the land, so we just, let's build one. We built it.
But aren't you building something
Like
else?
build it and they will come type mentality.
Well,
huh?
yeah, well, it worked.
It works. How's business?
Great. Fantastic.
Busy as ever.
You made your American dream happen.
Amen.
You're doing your own thing out here. No sheriff down here, no cop.
That's right.
And they're expanding.
Yeah, we're putting a new one in.
Where?
E. Jerry Road.
11 miles from here.
Who's your best customer?
You?
All right, what else do you want to say, sir, before we bounce? Anything?
That's all you, I'm out of that one.
Well, we love everybody. We're grateful for anybody that comes in here and does business with us. And we treat you like family. We try to.
Treat us on camera. You got places to stay out here?
No, we will have the new place.
22 cabins, 30 RV spots, in-ground pool, another bar and grill, and a store.
Playground, gas, have it all.
Like family out here.
Yep.
That was so cool of the ladies taking us out there.
Yeah.
That was cool to see the Outlaw because that is like a separate world out there.
It is.
I
And
mean,
you're talking 45 minutes out in the woods.
I'm in
straight.
Bluefield. I'm thinking, okay, now I'm removed. Then next level is out here. And then next level is Outlaw.
Right. And now, I mean, even this is secluded. I mean,
Yeah.
you're still 7, 8, 10 miles from town.
An old runway. I was told by a friend that people would be very closed off to me in a camera
Oh, yeah.
in these parts.
Surprised you.
Wasn't that way today at all. Like everyone was very friendly.
Yeah, everybody
Cool.
here's like that, and they always have been. I just did. Outsiders that come here, that's why they love to stay.
You're very proud people,
Absolutely, yeah.
and rightfully so.
Well, thank you. I appreciate
Yeah.
it. All right.
Good stuff, Jimmy. Thanks a lot, man.
No problem. Anytime.
All right, guys. You want to say it until the next one?
No, I go ahead.
All right.
You do it much
Until
better.
the next one. Good stuff, Jimmy.